So let's go through this extended response question and let me give you some tips how you actually answered it and some of the things I picked up in marking this question, but also this is not going to be your last extended response question in legal studies. In fact, there's a lot more coming, so we need to start skilling ourselves up in a lot more and how to respond to a question like this. At the end of the day with extended response questions, if you're writing one paragraph for an extended response question, you will simply not get the marks that you're looking for. The lines, once again, okay, that we've given you are the sort of, estimated amount of space that you can write. Some people went over that, that's fantastic, but also have in mind that you could use that line space to get full marks, okay? So in many ways, it's the articulation of people's writing style that is letting them down. Before I get to that though, let's talk about the questions themselves. In this question, we've actually broken down your sort of structure of your essay, okay, with the 3 different questions within the question, okay? So you won't be this lucky in Year 12. You'll be given one main question, but there are ways to break it down by using the syllabus, obviously. Talking about the syllabus, let's have a look at the question and then have a look at the actual syllabus itself. Well, it's a true reflection of where the syllabus is. So, the amount of people that came up to me a week before the test saying, well, what's the question going to be? I was like, well, go and look at the syllabus. Okay, it's there. Okay? So, section 1 is sources. You simply needed to go through and outline, because that's what the question's saying, outline the sources of international law. International customary law, which is jus cogens, the instruments, the declarations and treaties, the legal decisions, the writings. Okay? Now, if you want to know a definition of outline, it's just simply the main points of it. Okay? In general terms, indicate the main features of. That's what outline means. Okay? So you're given 3 marks for that section. Okay, so well done on those people. Some people said the United Nations, some people said the court. I mean, that's very limited. That's in general terms about what the sources are. They are the operations of international law. They are the organisations. Okay, so it's not the sources. So that's the first thing. Okay, so that's the section A, outline the main sources of international law. Really, that section could have been covered just in about that space there. Okay, so about 8 lines, thereabouts. If you're going over that, it means you're wasting time for the other questions. Okay? Alright, so, any questions on section A? No, it's pretty clear cut. Oh, Ash.
You said that you can't just name the organisations.
Well, the question's saying outline. Okay? It's not saying identify. It's not saying name.
Alright, so then what would you write the main sources?
Okay, so what you need to do is give a bit more detail about what is international customary law, what is the declaration and treaties, but don't go over the top. It's not saying, discuss these sources, it's saying outline. So, in Year 11 and 12, you've really got to understand what your directive terms are. Okay? Section B, outline the main objectives. It's an outline directive term once again, but there are a lot more things that you need to outline. Let me talk about the clear content here, because you need to get the content right, first of all, if you want to get your marks in this section. Okay? First of all, you're starting off with the United Nations. You may have done like a small paragraph on that about what the main role is of the UN. Okay? It's our main international body for political discussion between nation states. Okay? 193 members, set up after World War II, that kind of language. Okay? You then go into the General Assembly. Now, the General Assembly is that first one that you need to outline, and so it's that 193 members once again. They have equal vote, okay, on matters. They have that majority of vote when dealing with things, and people use good examples, okay? Some good examples that were used were things like, was the legality of Crimea, and whether that was illegal or not, or something like South Sudan was the new member. Okay, you need to actually give a case that the General Assembly did, not the Court of Justice just yet, because your structure's asking for that as you go through. Once you've done the General Assembly, You then need to do the Security Council. Now, this is where some people got confused. They started getting the Security Council and General Assembly mixed up. You've got to get this information in your head clearly, okay? The Security Council has 15 members that are from the 193, okay? And so part of that 15 members, you have the permanent 5, and people were actually putting that in, which is good, okay? And then talked about the 10 non-permanent, okay? You've got to have that correctly done with the proper legal terminology for it, okay? The question at the moment is not asking for the problems of international law. Some people did say, yes, they had veto power there, which was fine, okay? But, you know, you didn't have to go into the big case study just then yet, because the question's not asking you to do that just yet. Some people use some good examples there, you know, the veto power on Syria, or, you know, other things that have gone on in the past, like for Libya or whatever it was. People use some good examples there, which was fantastic at year 11 time period, okay? It sort of picked up from some people that you're bringing in cases ideal with year 12. So well done there for some people. For others, you simply got to get your content right. The worst section that was done in this question was the International Court of Justice. The reason why was people were getting it confused with the International Criminal Court. There's a difference between these two courts. The International Court of Justice deals with issues related to member states. They are countries, nation states. Okay? The ICJ ruling of Australia versus Japan was a good example. Okay? Too many people said that the International Court of Justice was dealing with war criminals. Incorrect. Okay? The main thing that the International Court of Justice does is give advisory opinions on rulings. They have limited legal bindings on those decisions. It relies on state sovereignty of nations to comply with international law there. Too many people said that this was an individual case court, and that's wrong. The International Court of Justice is an organ of the UN. The ICC is not.